guys, welcome aboard the channel. I'm Don, this is Rockin' a Country, where I react to non-pop country music. You guys know that who've been around for a while. And you can see the titles and artists of the previous 5,000 that I've done. So this is a gift request of funRonni. So Ronnie, firstly, thank you for this gift and request. And yes, it's remembering Don Schlitz on Country Family Reunion. And this is what Ronnie said. Don Schlitz died April 16th, 2026, so 4 days ago as of the time of this recording and posting. Country Family Reunion put this up, and I'd like to request it in his honor. There are 2 songs I love, and obviously many others do too. Thanks, Don. Well, you're welcome, Ronnie. And yes, I saw something recently. I don't know if I read it or where I saw it. Maybe there was an article, or maybe it was a video. I don't remember where, but I think it was Kenny Rogers said about Don Schlitz, was quoted as saying that Don Schlitz didn't make songs, he made careers, because I think he had like 25 number ones, but the songs that he wrote, like 2 of the ones we're about to see and hear, absolutely made people's careers. So I love that perspective. All right, so this is in honor of Don Schlitz.
My favorite song. I'm kind of like Vince says his favorite song is the last one. I think Buffy St. Marie once said, when they asked what her favorite song was, she said the next one.
Yeah.
You know, I like the one that I'm working on at home right now. You know, that's pretty cool. This is.
I love this.
This is a song that I actually, Jerry was talking about waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I woke up one morning, and once you have spent all that time trying to learn how to rhyme and trying to learn how to meter and trying to learn how to say things real simple and watching all of my heroes that are in this room. Well, once you get an idea, sometimes you wake up and it's all right there. I woke up one morning and the chorus of this song was boom, right in my head. And most of the time, when I'd wake up with an idea, I'd think, oh, that is so good, I'll remember that. Yeah. And then you wake up a couple hours later and
gone.
Yeah, you're thinking like, what was that idea? I was always on my mind. No, it wasn't that. That's like, no, and so you
I know that.
This one I went over and wrote down.
You gotta write it down.
Thank goodness. I wrote this chorus down, and a couple hours later, a man I'd been working with for a long time named Paul Overstreet, and I met at the office, and God bless you, Angela.
Bless somebody.
And Paul heard me singing this, and he says, I like that. I said, yeah, but I don't have a melody. I don't know what it's going to be. He said, well, I kind of like what you're playing. He knew how to find a melody in what I played. So you gonna play guitar?
He's in the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Yeah, you.
Sure.
Paul Overstreet.
I brought the band. It's amazing how you can speak right to my heart.
Allison Krauss.
Without saying a word, you can light up the dark. Try as I may, I could never explain what I hear when you don't say a thing. The smile on your face lets me know that you need me. There's a truth in your eyes, says you'll never leave me. A touch of your hand says you'll catch me if ever I fall. You say it best when you say nothing at all.
I can see Allison Krauss right now.
All day long I can hear people talking out loud. But when you hold me near, you drown out the crowd. Oh, Mr. Webster could never define what's being said between your heart and mine. The smile on your face lets me know that you need me, as the truth in your eyes says you'll never leave me. A touch of your hand says you'll catch me if ever I fall. Oh, you say it best when you say nothing at all. Oh, you say it best when you say nothing.
Don, can somebody be taught? Go back to the days you were writing with Vince before he had written hits and all. How do you go about teaching somebody to write a song?
I don't. Well, it's teaching somebody or teaching Vince are two different things. Yeah, I mean, he came in with so much
A lot of
knowledge of what worked and what he liked, and that instinct, I think, of what you like is what you ought to sing, what you ought to write. I mean, we all want to write a song that's a hit song. Well, I want to write a song I like, and I want that to be a hit song. And that was what he did, and he had always been spending so much time. The difference between us is, well, one of the differences between us was he was out playing, and he was out picking, and he was out singing every night, and I was sitting at a typewriter or sitting at a legal pad day in and day out, and working on rhymes to the point where I didn't have to think about rhyming, working on meter and making and trying to get whether Mr. belongs in the line or not, or to make sure it worked, to make sure it sounded conversational, making sure that it's you want to say it in a way so that you don't, everything that's between the lines you didn't have to say, you said it with the silence between those words. And the question being, can you teach anybody to do that? I'm not sure you can teach anybody that, but you can learn how to do that. You got to have the want to. You got to really want to hear a song you haven't heard before, and it's probably going to be about yourself, or something that. And when you look at that, the most personal thing about yourself that you would never really want to tell anybody, and you figure out a way to write that down.
Honesty.
And sing that to somebody else, they walk away and going like, how does he know that about me? How does he know that's what I'm thinking? Because there's a universal subject. There's only 6 songs. There's only 6 plays. There's only 6 books. And you got to find a different way to say it, and say it from your heart and from your mind. I'm not sure you can teach anybody. You can point them in the right direction. But if you've got the want to, if you've got the desire and the stubbornness is, I think, very critical that Vince had, and that I think everybody in this room had, and hopefully still has, to sit down and do that. Yeah, you can learn how to write a hit song. I know that I was very fortunate myself that when I was knocking on doors when I got here, I was thinking, we were talking about the young folks now. Well, I had hair about down to here, and it's 1973, and I was, well, who's that rock and roll kid, or who does he think he is? He's 20 years old. Why is he coming to Nashville? Well, it was near home, and I got here, and the first person to see me, first 2 people to see me, one guy named Buzz Rabin and a guy named Bob McDill. And I remember walking into Jack Music, and the lady out front says, "Anybody listen to songs today?" And this guy comes out with wire rim glasses, and it's Bob McDill. I didn't know who Bob McDill was, any more than I walk into a restaurant and see Nora Wilson sitting there. I don't think there's the most beautiful girl writer. It's like, well, there's somebody eating a steak, And I didn't know who this guy was. I go back and I'm thinking, I'm this guy's big chance in life. I'm 20 years old, right? And he listens to about 10 songs of mine, He kind of likes them, and I'm thinking like, I am your big shot. You know, you just got lucky meeting me, right? And he says, well, come in here. I want to play you what I'm doing. We'll put some of your songs down later, but I want to show you what I'm doing. And he says, it's a small label. It's a friend of mine singing. It's a B-side. And he puts on a 45, and at that time, albums were happening. I thought, well, it's just a single. You know, it's like, it's not even on an album. And I looked down, it was on a record label called JMI Records. The friend of his was a man named Don Williams. And the song was a song called Amanda. And that was Hello to Don in Nashville. And it was like, okay, this is going to take a while. And for the first couple of years, that was the only person that would see me in town. And he handed it down. He very patiently took the time to listen to songs and be encouraging. I'd go in. I was working as a computer operator, you know, an all-night computer operator over at Vanderbilt. And I'd get up at 10 o'clock in the morning and go knock on doors. And every once in a while, I'd get fed up, and I was going to go back to North Carolina. And I'd go in and say, well, I'm going to go back. And he said, well, you could do that, but you'll never know. Never know what? Well, you never know if you could have done it or not. So, okay. He said, there's good news and bad news. Is 99% of the money or cuts, whatever, you get from 1% of the people. That's the bad news. And the good news is there's a whole lot of room in that 1%. And when I know most people in this room came to town, it was a situation that if you hung around long enough, and if you worked hard enough, and if you tried to learn and listen, and you were polite, and you had a little bit of something, you can get a shot. I eventually got a shot.
Do us a great Don Schlitz song.
I don't think I've ever told anybody this on mic, but we were talking earlier today about writing what you know, everything being autobiographical, and when I wrote this song, this is the first song I ever had recorded. And
great speaker.
At that point in my life, I had never been on a train. I don't think I had tasted whiskey, and I didn't play cards.
You wrote The Gambler?
I just kind of made it up. It rhymed. On a warm summer's evening, on a train bound for nowhere, I met up with a gambler. We were both too tired to sleep, so we took turns of staring out the window at the darkness till boredom overtook us, and he commenced to speak. He said, you got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money. When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for counting when the dealing is done. But you got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money. When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for counting when the dealing is done. There will be time enough for counting when the dealing is done.
It's like a superstar Songwriter cafe. Uber cafe.
That guy got real intimate with you, like right away. It was just like that one verse, and then he gave you all that information. A little more development.
I'm that kind of guy. People just tell me things.
Yeah, I can relate to him. It's funny. My ex-wife, this was very good depiction. She'd referred to me, this is while we were married, of course, but she referred to me as a friendly pit bull because she said when I latch on to something, I don't let go until I'm done with it. But I do it in a very friendly way, so nobody's really put off by me. And I'm like, oh, that was really good. I never considered it in that way. And yeah, I mean, he's a very, very good speaker. He's very good with language, very good creatively. I love learning from the creatives, if you will, but people who are linguistically creative. Like I have friends of mine, like a good friend of mine, Austin. She is an artist, like she paints and stuff. I can't relate to that at all. I can't even draw well. My handwriting is relatively abysmal. So I cannot relate to that. But I can relate to creatives because they think in different realms. And me being a philosopher, I love that. You know, just learning new things or just experiencing new things, just even if it's in conversation, how somebody processes life. And to hear somebody like Don Schlitz just speak, command the room among those people who are used to commanding a room, but people were enthralled from what I could see on their faces with how he depicted his own career, songwriting, life, even to come up with an idea like, I don't think you could teach it, but it can be learned. And you know, just even like that, it's not a bifurcation, but that sort of separation of how one becomes a songwriter in this case. It isn't that you could sit in a classroom. It isn't that you could just sit down with somebody. You have to want it, as he said Don Williams told him, or maybe he just knew. And then you have to do it. And you have to keep going after it, and you'll acquire what needs to be done, and then that foundation's a lot stronger than had you just learned it on the mental side. But that was beautiful. It was brilliant. And yeah, I mean, what a career to find out that like the gambler, he just made it up. And you're like, yeah. And he's saying songs are autobiographical, and then he comes out and says the gambler, he just made it up. He didn't drink, he didn't gamble, none of that stuff. And yet here he goes with the song that you can hear in your mind's ear. All these songs you can hear. Like I heard Alison Krauss singing When You Say Nothing at All. And then Kenny singing The Gambler. Like you can hear it in your mind's ear. So what a career. I mean, all the songs written on the wall back there, some of which were blocked by the artists, but to have those artists in the room and you're commanding them, that's like I said, it was like a who's who at the Bluebird Cafe, songwriters in the round. So, all right, guys, I love this. Ronnie, thank you for that too, because I'll be heading down to Nashville soon for at least several months, and it might even be permanent. I don't know how that's going to go, but we'll see what I do with songwriting. It's not my intent to go down there for that purpose, but I'm not excluding it because I have hundreds of songs, and I do know some artists, and I'll be working on songs a bit just as you know, a different thing to do, but it isn't my primary focus. That's certainly secondary or tertiary, but I love language. I love songs, as you know. This feeds me. All right, guys. You can thank funRonni for that, but that's in honor of Don Schlitz, who made a lot of careers. Have a wonderful day, folks. I'll see you on another video and keep rocking the country.
He knew how to find a melody in what I played, so you gonna play guitar?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Sure.
I brought the band.